On this channel, we provide useful programming information with practical code examples. This time, we'll cover the math object. It explains step by step, from basic usage to common practical patterns, as well as pitfalls and countermeasures. Enabling subtitles will make the code descriptions easier to understand. JavaScript's math object provides a set of built-in utilities for numerical calculations. Constants defined in math are useful when dealing with high-precision values. The following code shows some typical constants. These constants can be used as is for trigonometric functions, logarithmic conversions, normalization, and more. For example, math pi is needed to convert angles to radians. Rounding and handling signs are frequently used, so it's important to properly understand the differences between math floor, math ceil, and math round. Especially when handling negative numbers, results may differ from intuition, so it is necessary to be careful about how each rounding rule works and use them appropriately. The following examples illustrate the differences between rounding functions. Math floor rounds towards the smaller direction for negative numbers, so -3.7 becomes -4. Math ceil rounds towards the larger direction for negative numbers, so -3.7 becomes -3. Math rounds 0.5 up for positive numbers, and for negative numbers, it rounds towards 0. Negative numbers can produce results that differ from intuition, so it is important to clearly understand in which direction numbers are being rounded. Rounding functions should be selected according to the use case. For example, use math floor for index calculations, math ceil for upper limits, and math trunc when you just want to drop the decimal part. Exponentiation and square roots can be done with math.pow or with the operator. Math hypot safely calculates the square root of the sum of squares, distance. Below are examples of exponentiation and hypot. Math hypot mitigates the impact of overflow and underflow. Math hypot is useful when dealing with triangle sides or multi-dimensional vector lengths. Exponentials and logarithms are often used in probability, exponential decay, and scaling. Next are basic examples of express and logarithms. Make sure to use the appropriate function, depending on the logarithm base. Natural logarithms, math.log, are standard in statistics and differential equations. Common logarithms and base 2 logarithms are also chosen depending on the application. Trigonometric functions are essential for angle calculations, rotations, and coordinate transformations. Math. Atan2, y, x, is useful for calculating angles while considering quadrants correctly. Below are basic examples and usage of Atan2. Angles must be handled in radians. Atan2 inches can safely determine the angle of a vector, making it preferable for rotations and heading calculations. Math.random returns a uniformly distributed random number in the range 0, 1. You can convert or extend it as needed for integer ranges or normal distributions, for example. The following are examples of random number utility functions. If you need cryptographically secure random numbers, use crypto. Get random values. Math.random is convenient for general use, but for game replays or cryptography, countermeasures for reproducibility or security are required. It's helpful to write small utility functions yourself for frequently used mathematical tasks. Here are implementation examples of commonly used utilities. This code collects small utility functions commonly used for numerical operations such as clamping values, interpolation, range mapping, and angle normalization. Clamp limits a value to a specified range, while lerp and mapRange perform smooth interpolation or conversion to another range. Additionally, normalize angle always normalizes angles to the range pi to stabilize rotation calculations. These helpers are frequently used in graphics, games, and interaction programming. Normalize angle is important for comparing angular differences and for interpolation. JavaScript numbers are IEEE 754 double precision floating point, 64-bit, so caution is required when comparing or rounding numbers. For example, 0.1 plus 0.2 equals 0.3. Here is an example of handling rounding errors. It is important to use comparisons that tolerate small errors or appropriate rounding functions. For robust numerical equality checks, use absolute error, EPS, or relative error. The functions of math are optimized natively and are often faster than hand-written equivalent logic. If the same calculation, e.g., math pi 180 inches, is repeated in a loop, assigning it to a variable in advance reduces unnecessary overhead. Below is an example of converting degrees to radians by creating a constant outside a loop. It's best to verify actual hotspots with a profiler before performing optimizations. It is efficient to cache constants that are used frequently. Math itself has existed for a long time, but some functions like math cbrt, math. Log 10 inches, math. Log 2 inches, and math. Hypot may be unsupported in older environments. Prepare a simple polyfill if necessary. Below is an example of a simple polyfill for math. Log 2. Many environments already support them, but check for compatibility if required. Check browser support according to your project's target environment. Finally, here is a practical example combining several math functions. This is a very simple example for updating position, velocity, and angle control. It's a highly simplified model of a physics engine. By combining math helpers like this, simulation and animation logic can be made more concise. Math covers everything from constants and basic functions to advanced ones, serving as the foundation for numerical processing. Select functions according to their purpose, such as random numbers, trigonometric functions, exponentials, logarithms, or rounding, and create small utilities like clamp and lerp for practical use. Pay attention to floating point precision and the support status of your target environment, and prepare error tolerance or polyfills if necessary. The source code for this video can be downloaded from the official website. If you like, please visit the URL in the description to aid your learning. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to enjoy more content, please subscribe to the channel.